Chapter 1. Hidden. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. Edgar Allan Poe, The Raven. Depression is funny. Not ha-ha funny, obviously, because it'd be super rude to laugh at a depressed person for being depressed. It's funny in a way that might cause scientists with fake-sounding German accents to stroke their beards thoughtfully. It's funny in the same way that bologna is when it's past its expiration date, or when your dog growls at your closet door for no reason, or your football team is looking at first and goal and decides to punt. It's funny as in outside the norm, funny as in disquieting, funny as in you're making me uncomfortable, so please just cheer up already. And who could blame them? Depression is just so depressing, you know? Being around somebody who's obviously depressed is not much fun. Trust me, I know. Being a person who deals with depression myself, I had days when I'd rather not hang around with me either. Depression's funny in that there's not much fun to be found in it for anyone. By definition, it's something of a fun squelcher. Those affected by it can have a difficult time enjoying much of anything. And like a rock chucked in the middle of a pond, the impact of depression ripples out to friends, family, co-workers, and even unsuspecting motorists and harried Starbucks baristas. Depression is a burden for those who suffer from it, a worry for friends and family, and, let's face it, a hassle for anyone else exposed to it, even in passing. In a society that doesn't dare push pause, depression is an inconvenience few can afford. Maybe that's why so many depressed people try to hide it, if we can. We're like vampires, only moodier. Back in the mid-1990s, my son and I would get up every Saturday morning and without fail watch an animated series called The Tick, centered on the titular nigh invulnerable superhero and his accountant-turned-sidekick, Arthur. Episodes featured an array of other wacky superheroes and supervillains, some of whom would hang out for the whole show, others gone before you could blink. My favorite in the latter category, a guy in a domino mask and a caped bear outfit. "This looks like a job for Bipolar Bear," he shouts. Then crestfallen, he shakes his head. "But I just can't seem to get out of bed this month." People not familiar with depression might imagine that the condition is just that obvious. And for some, it is. No, not in terms of dressing up like a bear, though maybe a few do, and who am I to judge? But in terms of how it impacts our waking day-to-day realities. It renders normal life, much less the life of a superhero, impossible. It can be as obvious as Vincent van Gogh's missing ear, a debilitating sickness that cripples us, imprisons us, and robs us of who we are and what we'd like to be. But depression comes in many guises, seasonal to chronic, mild to severe. It dresses in so many different outfits that it might even dwarf the litany of costume crime fighters and evildoers in The Tick. And trust me, that's saying something. Plus, frankly, there's very little money in being depressed. We gotta make a living somehow, so many of us find the energy to pull ourselves out of bed in the morning and go to work. That's me. I hold a regular job, even if it's not all that regular, and even though, as my coworkers will attest, I'm not all that regular either. I write movie reviews for a Christian organization, so parts of the working day can feel a little like church. For instance, every Monday, the ministry holds a stand-up meeting/prayer in our cavernous central hallway that we call Main Street. These Monday morning meetings are pretty innocuous. A joke, a prayer, ministry updates, more prayer. I typically stand on the second-floor walkway with some associates of mine, and we eye the proceedings below, applauding at the appropriate times, laughing at the appropriate punchlines, and maybe making a puckish quip or two. The idea behind these Monday Main Street stand-ups are to start the work week on the right foot. A few updates, a little encouragement, and bam! We dive into our deadlines and meetings and spreadsheets. And if some of our minds wander a bit during our gathering, well, that's to be expected, right? No harm done, unless you miss an announcement for an upcoming potluck. But when my mind wanders, as it invariably does, it leaves Main Street behind and explores darker avenues. I look at Main Street below the balcony and wonder if I'd potentially die if I jumped. Likely not, so I think about hanging myself, pondering whether if I tied a rope to the railing, it'd be able to hold my weight. I've gained a few pounds after all. I look at the peaked ceilings and its spider web of supportive struts, and I speculate how I could hang a rope up there,